Hello, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. Tonight I have a fancy, fun fold, tea tree fold card for you that's actually much easier than it looks. And we're concentrating on what's old is new again. We're doing some stash busting as well as working with some of our brand new evergreen pattern papers. So I just posted this fun, simple layout using our evergreen collection. And I actually love the contrast of the black and the linen cardstock against the evergreen pine pattern. And then I pulled out this layout that I completed. I think the paper was from 2018. It's called Cedar and Pine. And the photos were from 2019 because I often use the year before papers. But I created this fun tea tree fold tree and incorporated it into my layout that has 3 of my granddaughters in their Christmas PJs on Christmas Day. And I had so much fun with it, and I remember being so excited. And I was relatively new to Close to My Heart, and I had learned how to do this tea tree fold. And my mentor in Close to My Heart, who had been with Close to My Heart for 30 years, said, "Oh, that's been around for years." And I was so proud that I was doing something new, and yet it's something that's been around for a long, long time. And you can actually find lots of tutorials on Pinterest doing tea tree folds. So I decided to use the embossing folder called Christmas Florals. I absolutely love it. It has 3 beautiful, beautiful overlay stencils that go with it. And there's so much amazing artwork with it. You should definitely do a search. But I actually just wanted to use the embossing folder on linen cardstock. So I have a black base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, a linen piece 4 by 5 1/4, and I have embossed it with the Christmas Florals embossing folder, and I've used the 'Tis the Season thin cuts, and they are so tiny and delicate and cute. And I have all of this really weird array of gold foil paper scraps, and I decided to bash my stash. We no longer carry the gold foil paper. We do have beautiful gold glitter paper. Same with the embellishing thread, the gold embellishing thread. We no longer have that or the gold dots, but we have tons of gold embellishing thread because it used to come in so many of our workshop kits. Same with the gold glitter dots or glitter gems. And I only have large ones left, and it drives me crazy because I like to use a large and a small on a card. So I've been looking for uses for the large dots. I also have an odd hodgepodge of Hello Pumpkin shapes that has some stars in it. Also a possibility of using our black die cut shapes that have some black die cut stars in it. And I'm going to show you 2 ways. One, bashing your stash with the Hello Pumpkin shapes, which I just have a weird array of them left. I used most of them on my Hello Pumpkin workshop. We're going to use this beautiful evergreen pattern paper. We're going to start with a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inch square. We're going to do this many times so you can see how it's done. We're going to fold it first from corner to corner on a diagonal and use the bone folder to really make sure it's nice and flat. We're going to flip it and do corner to corner on the opposite side. Then we're going to flip the paper over to the opposite pattern and do a straight fold in half. Flip it again the opposite direction and do a straight fold in half. So we're literally going from corner to corner on a diagonal, from corner to corner on a diagonal, from edge to edge flat, and from edge to edge flat, okay? We're gonna do this 4 more times, so you'll be able to see it again. And once you get the folds down, it's super easy. You're gonna fold in the 2 middle portions, and they'll fold quite easily if you've done your original folding well, and it's going to make this little triangle that has 2 flaps. And we're going to fold the front flap by just kind of holding our finger. You have that center fold line to fold into, and we're going to fold both flaps into that center line, and it's going to create this sort of origami tree fold, and it's called a tea tree fold. Now, I originally learned the tea tree fold at a class, an in-person class, and I cannot remember who taught the class or where the class was. It was years ago. And I absolutely loved it. And I was, like I said, so excited to learn it. So we're going to do it again, corner to corner on a diagonal, flat edge to flat edge in half both ways on the opposite side of the paper. Corner to corner on a diagonal, corner to corner on a diagonal, edge to edge flat, edge to edge flat. Fold it in to make a triangle. Make sure it's nice and creased with your bone folder. Hold your finger on the top point so that you fold just the flap into that center fold line. Fold the other flap into the center fold line, and it's kind of important to have it tight enough so that those two peaks come together, that the folds come together in the center. Let's do it again, corner to corner on a diagonal. On the busy side, corner to corner on a diagonal on the busy side. Flip it open, flip it over to the leaf side and go edge to edge. Flip it over and go opposite edge to opposite edge. Fold it together in the middle to create a triangle. And then hold your finger at the top and fold just the right edge into the center fold line, and then the left edge into the center fold line. And they're very, very easy to do. There's 4 folds, and you repeat them over and over. You're going to do those 5 times. Now, the size of the squares start at 3.5 by 3.5. The second one is 3 by 3. The third one is 2.5 by 2.5. The fourth one is 2 by 2. And the fifth one is 1.5 by 1.5. And when you get to the last one that is 1.5 by 1.5, it's pretty tiny. I have pretty big hands and I can do it, so I know you'll be able to do it also. And I always laugh because when my son was in grade school, he said, "Mom, you should listen to this new band. They're really cool. They're called the Cars." And I remember cracking up laughing at him because, of course, that was a band from the 80s, from my day. And he thought they were new and cool. And I love in scrapbooking that what is old is new again, that you can bring back things from years ago and they come back into style, and you can use them in different ways with new and upgraded papers and new and upgraded techniques, such as the new embossing folder and the new evergreen paper and the new thin cut, and make them new again. And in the process, you can bash your stash as well and use up some things that are no longer around that you would love to get good use out of because you have invested in them. So again, corner to corner on a diagonal, corner to corner on a diagonal, flip it over, flush end to flush end, halfway in half straight, and then flip it over the other way in half on the straight edge, fold in your triangle and fold in your tiny little pieces, the right flap, fold it into the middle, and the left flap, fold it into the middle, and now you have 5 pieces again, 3.5 by 3.5, 3 by 3, 2.5 by 2.5, 2 by 2, 1.5 by 1.5. Now we're going to adhere our embossed linen piece that again was 4 by 5 1/4 onto our 4 1/4 by 5 inch black cardstock. It's so sharp, it's so crisp and clean. I love the look of the linen, and I love the look of the Christmas Florals embossing folder. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you should do some searching on YouTube. There are lots of makers, close to my heart makers, that have used the Christmas Florals embossing folder, but they've used it with the stencils, and it's absolutely gorgeous. They're layered stencils and they are to die for. So now I've just added some liquid glue to our little 'Tis the Season thin cuts, Z8063 is the item number, but I will link all of these supplies in the description, and I'm going to add those to the bottom of the card. And then I'm going to add "'Tis the" in the same manner to the top of the card. And we're going to arrange our tea tree fold Christmas tree in the center of the card. And I just feel so good when I bring back techniques that I can use again instead of using once and never using them again. And then I'm also so happy to use up little weird, odd things like these Hello Pumpkin shapes. I don't know when we did Hello Pumpkin. I'm sure it was 3 years ago. I'm thinking at least 3 years ago, and I hate to throw them away. And there's just like maybe a fourth of the package left, and it has all of these hearts and stars in it of different sizes. And I'm gonna love using that up. So now I have the sentiment on. We're gonna add a tiny bit of liquid glue. The reason I'm using liquid glue, you could use something more, like a regular tape runner, but I'm using liquid glue because I want to tuck the pieces into each other. And the liquid glue allows me to pull it up and have a little bit of give if you do it right away. And I'm going to tuck the one tree fold into the other and leave a tiny little bit of space. And we're simply going to build a Christmas tree from the largest tea tree fold to the smallest tea tree fold. And it's so pretty, and I love the dimension in it, but it folds completely down and flat in a regular size envelope. And I love that as well, so that you're not having to pay extra postage. And it might be a little puffy if you don't have it creased enough, but once you push it down in the envelope, that envelope secures it and holds it down. Just like my tree that I showed you, that it pops right back up when you take it out of the page protector that I showed you on my scrapbooking layout. It's so fun. So now these little Hello Pumpkin shapes have this little kind of peelable adhesive on the back. And I'm going to place it on the top of the tree. And it's really pretty in black because I use the black base and I'm using the black and linen accents. But I actually added some of my gold Stickles. Let me see. I think they're golden rod, but let me open them up and double check. They are, yep, golden rod. And again, we no longer carry Stickles, but all of my paper crafters invested in most of them in Stickle bundles. So they have all of the colors, but many of them have the basic colors like gold and silver are ones that we used a lot. White or diamond white are ones that we used a lot as well. And so you can either leave it black or you can put a little bit of those goldenrod Stickles on it. And I love how the black and the gold and the black shines through the gold because of the black around the edge. It sort of pulls the whole card together with the black undertone on the underside of the gold. So I really liked that. Now I'm showing you how I use my gold embellishing thread. And you've probably seen this many, many times. Our gold embellishing thread has been around for a long, long time. And again, we no longer carry it, but it was in all of our workshops or a lot of our workshops, and you never really needed very much. So what I do is I take my bone folder or a marker or something round, and I just run it along the embellishing thread to take the kinks out. I've heard a lot of people say that they hate using it, and it's actually quite easy. So you're going to take the kinks out, put one edge on a glue dot, make a little circle, put it on the glue dot, make a little circle, put it on the glue dot, and roll it just a little bit with your thumb. And that holds that whole little cluster of embellishing threads together. And then you can actually put it on the edge of your scissors or on the edge of a piercing tool and just tuck it under with that tool. And I've done that twice to make a nice big section of embellishing thread coming out of the tree. And I love that. It just gives it such a wonderful finishing touch. It's so, so pretty. I will never get tired of it. I don't care if it's retired. I love it. And I'm so glad that I have a stockpile of it. And many of my paper crafters do as well. I'm sure you can possibly find some at other crafting stores or in other places if you are a new customer to Close to My Heart and you didn't have any. Now I have my large glitter gems that are hard to use up because I love using like a large and a small together in a cluster on a card or a large and a small together in a cluster on a layout. And so it bothers me to only have large. But in this case, putting them like ornaments on the tree are a great way to use up my large embellishments. Adding those stickles on there, and you have a gorgeous dimensional tea tree fold card. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd shoot me a comment and hit like, subscribe, follow, share. It sure goes a long way on YouTube and keeps me motivated to keep them coming. Happy paper crafting, everyone, and Merry December. Here it comes. Bye-bye.